Radiant structures are fortified.
Gyrocopter, what is that, a hero? Where do we find him? You'll probably find him in 20 minutes, pre-stacked on the gold.
They don't really care about him. They could go and try to take him down, but most likely they would fail as they lacked everything that they need for it. And at the same time, you have a jug with Magnus, so you're completely capable of out farming him. The problem is Vici Gaming. They're slowly taking map control. The Centaur on the bottom lane with Retaliate, he destroyed them in that last fight. And he even got from level 5 to level 6 with Stampede to save himself. And now he's pressuring your tier 2.
He's got the Retaliate stack. Lim's going to come down, but too late to do anything about this. He's actually moving around top as if they wanted to push the tab, but instead he backs off. That's just more room for Furious to keep farming.
And for Ori to pressure mid, because if you rotate your Death Prophet towards the bottom lane and you show her, and you appear in front of the creeps, it instantly means that you can pressure mid if you are Vici Gaming, and that's what they're doing. They're just reacting to the way...
Bakery. There's going to be a stampede to get them out. Stun hits some of the Sentai. Speaking about duels, but Bakery will go for it now. He will. Drags him in, ensures that Xiao Yu does go down, and 33 gets the first duel win of the game.
He could have ran there with Centaur. Like, there was definitely a way for him to get out. He was just a little bit reluctant. He was moving back and forth, like, where do I go? Where do I run?
He was paranoid about Orin if Pug...
Yeah, he was like, I can't really decide where to go, and in the end, he went to his death, went to the fountain to
contemplate,
think about his mistakes, think about these insecurities that make him run back and forth instead of choosing one path and going at it. Well, it's always bad in this game, in the game of Dota, it's always bad to think twice when you're about to use a big spell.
Definitely. Both free.
That's how Loda spheres are born, you know? Second thoughts.
Envy bubbles, I like to call it now, for yesterday. Cooldown comes in. Bakery being chased on Timmy. He has the speed with the 0-1 odds. The problem is they can get close enough to the gyro to bring him down. Did you use the rock? By the way, a big shout out to Loda, who's probably watching this game. I don't mean anything bad, man. Love you. No, but for real, I actually heard that he's not really coaching this new Alliance squad as much as he did coach the last one. No, I got confirmation from the Alliance guys. He said he will step in later, but he wants them to find their style first. That's a pretty great approach. That's good. RP connects on the 2, signs him up as well. Trying to run him through him. Stun's going to come out, Stomp pull up as well. They're going to leash them together with the Soulbind, and Lim's going to look to chase in with the Ancient Well. Stun for the 1, Omni slash across, and they'll be able to get the 2, and another dual win for 33. Yeah, Limp gets a double kill there, and Alliance, they're definitely punishing the aggression from Vici Gaming. After that rock is dropped, you just have to approach the next fights a little bit differently. If you're Vici Gaming, they continue trying to make plays there. Just like Ori is continuing to pressure this mid lane, but he can because he has haste. Most definitely. And at the same time, Gyro just moves to the bot lane, says, wherever you go, I will not be. I'm going to sustain this gold lead, and you can already see the stacks that are happening on the 8th. It's the best area for him to be, this bottom lane, because Pagna is always drawing attention to himself on this mid lane. And he's pressuring the tier 2. Just look at the tier 2 on mid. It's already on, like, what, 20%, 15% HP? Pretty bad position to be in. And meanwhile, now you'll just see the Gyro move back towards his own triangle and begin the farm. There's some nice stacks waiting for Eurus. Yeah, they've created quite a lot of stacks for him. Oh, the ancient stacks and the normal ones are there, so the UI is going to be there too to soak up some experience, perhaps use Fatal Bonds. Yeah, there we go. So it's a little bit easier for Gyro to farm. Actually leaves the whole amount of experience to Gyro, just uses Fatal Bonds and moves away. Very, very noble from Warlock. Important that you get those early leveled ups of the Gyro. It's a hero that thrives on the magic damage, especially at level 15 talent with the Rock Barrage. The quicker you get him there, the quicker you can farm against anything. And the question is, can 33 end up with a pipe before you get to that point and before that becomes a problem? Because pipe is huge this game for Alliance. Definitely, if pipe is big, you have a lot of magic damage versus you. Pipe is good on the other team too, even though it doesn't look like massive of a thing. It's alright, someone could get it. It stops Limp from destroying you early on.
But I do like the option to go for Crimson instead. I think it's much better. The Crimson Guard will help them quite a lot, and it's a more natural build for Centaur.
Yes. Like, alliances line up, they move further away from magic and more into physical as the game goes on, right? I mean, you've got this Juggernaut, you've got this DP who's going to have those pesky Exorcism spirits going around, and you've got a dead fighter.
You have a dead fighter, and you have Ori, a dead little skeleton boy attacking your tier 2.
Undead is the correct term, Liz. And his team is going to make someone dead. Limp will go for the TP out in time, though. Wise to the moves.
Just a good TP away from him. Towards that mid-tier 2, though. Mid-tier 2 that will fall to the Soul Centaur.
Yeah, he had to back off because the home missile's coming in.
Exactly, good read. If he stays there and he gets hit by the missile, perhaps he gets followed up by Lion and Centaur, so he couldn't risk it, he moves back. Meanwhile, Jug takes the top bounty. He has drums, Great Band moving towards Yasha, SMY build actually. He needs that. He needs as much status resistance as possible in this game.
And he has the diff who can play on Nico, baby.
He has quite a lot, and courtesy of Hansken and his Empower.
I like that little move there as well, the way he just cut the tree, because he wants to keep farming right, but every corner you turn at nighttime in here, there could be a pesky lion waiting around the corner. So just minimize that risk by making sure you deforest.
Actually surprised they didn't try to utilize Lion and his finger to catch off Nico Baby. But so far Nico Baby has been on point with his movement, and this lane ward, like look at that. It allows him to move back instantly after Lion is spotted, and he goes back to farm in a little bit more of a safer area.
Definitely not your usual position, but this is the kind of thing that I've been excited to see, Liz. You know, Fada coming into the POS 5 role, he brings a different style. And even in his warding, like, when they first started playing, they were so confident they were barely placing wards. And then he started to place these kind of, some people say abnormal.
They weren't confident. He was just a core player that forgets to buy wards, you know, like...
That's confidence. That's what your players say.
Even when he buys wards, he forgets to place them. That's the problem. That's the pain of being a core player.
We've all been there. Now they're going to be in the mid lane. For a plan with Xiao Yu, the Kings are coming out. They're going to drag him back. No, they get a duel off. Before he can get away with the Stampede, the Rock's going to be dropped as well. And the Failed Bond's going around. He maybe moves across the creep wave, trying to come back. The Stomp's going to be held. Now they'll turn around the Legion. With the finger will bring him down. Cool down to slow them down, but Fighters are already TPing away. The rest of them will make it out. And that's the power of having a tier 1 tower at the 16-minute mark still in the mid lane.
That's the power of having a tier 1 tower, but if you are Vici Gaming, you need to take something off of Alliance immediately. You need to take some sort of an objective or map control, because you just used your Rock, you just used Stampede. The only hero that you did take down is Legion Commander. I'm not saying that it's a bad fight for them, but there's definitely...
It's quite you have to take that way. And now there's going to be a fight in return. Eurus is going to be dragged in a little bit here. Stun turn around. Fada, he only just got back up. Give the man a break. Okay. Magnus will go down as well.
Alliance, they definitely realize what they have to do as they go instantly for that fight, because there's no big ultis on the side of Vici Gaming.
Defusal, Xiao Yu.
They don't do it properly. That's the issue. And now, that's not a kill.
No, they had an opportunity at the overall knowledge, but they didn't realize the damage was that high as they moved out. It seems Alliance, in some ways, they're a little bit hesitant, especially after that move mid backfired the way it did. Yes, you get all those elements out. Yes, you get pressure in return, and you drag Vici's attention there. But the problem is, like, with that tier 1 tower still standing, with the lack of towers that Alliance has right now, they feel pretty naked on the map.
Vici Gaming, that just looks like a team that executes their team fights and their strategy a bit faster and better at the moment. Alliance, they're definitely shaken up by this, and they are trying to smoke up and make something happen on the map.
Yeah, they're going to try and shake things up by entering on a DUI. 33 can move in for an easy duel win.
This is not what you hoped for.
No, like, it's something, but it's measly. At least you get the damage, right? If you're a Legion, like 30 damage at this stage in the game is a lot for a Legion. It feels good. That will actually pivot later on. You know, we talked about the way these lineups work. The Gyrocopter really is going to end up the late game damage. No one else is able to help him. Whereas Alliance, you know, at this rate, if they keep getting dual wins like that, Legion Commander will be the third core that dishes out a lot of physical, because you will still have the Exorcisms and, of course, that Juggernaut, who continues with farm, and he's going to grab the top net worth spot in a second. So not too bad.
When you're empowered, you can definitely farm quite a lot. and you farm fast even versus heroes with built-in farming abilities such as gyrocopter. Especially when you're a jug, you have a lot of movement speed with phase boost drums, and you can fight all the time. Plus, it's very unlikely that you can die in team fights, as you have you have a built-in BKB, and that's why Nico Baby is 2-0-3 at the moment, doing really well, even though his teammates aren't really putting up a stellar performance, as they're 8k behind as a team.
No, and this is the kind of double-edged sword when it comes to backdrops. You are all about one, and now jump in on a 33. It's all about him. Trying to kill him off quick enough. They're going to drop the rock. Connects on a 3 for 33. Press the attack, trying to run away. Home missiles coming in. RP, turnaround opportunity. Stun coming out, though. They're going to blow one up. Jug is gone. They haven't got the damage anymore. Limp's going to move in anyway with the exorcism, but the slow coming out from the upheaval. DY waits low enough and backs up. Limp now needs to escape, but he's used his ultimate. They've already lost 3, and he might be the 4th this raid. They're going to stomp him down. Rocket Barrage, full up. Stun is good. They get the kill. Only one walking away alive is Fada, because he went bot to get the runes. Alliance
lost 4, and we just talked about Nico Baby and how well he was. Oh, there you go, you lose the last one instantly into the pit. Team wipe usually allows you to go into Roshan and take him down, but that's basically Vici Gaming just realizing where their strengths lay and utilizing their heroes and their team fighting potential a little bit better, a little bit faster, catching Alliance off guard, and all their smokes, they make sense. Like, look at this team fight over here. It's next to the Roche, it's also next to their board, so they have perfect vision on Alliance. They can initiate properly, they can team fight properly. Meanwhile, Alliance, they smoke up without any vision, they move on the left side of the map where they have no objectives to take afterwards, and they find a Warlock. The smoke of Alliance versus this smoke is basically smoke of desperation versus smoke of strategy. And Vici Gaming, they pull out ahead even further now, 12k ahead, while Alliance, they're struggling. They need to find a way to make their juggernaut work. They need to find a way to make Nico Baby work in these team fights, but that Decrepify is a thing that's messing with him quite a lot.
This feels like one of those examples where it's not what we'd like to see from Alliance. We talk a lot about the hyper-aggression. They're very good at doing that in the early moments of the game. But when you look back at this draft and you think about what this has given them, it's one of those classic Magnus drafts where it's like, yeah, our lanes are weak as hell. We'll just bounce back later. And it doesn't maybe pivot into their best strengths. Like, you like to see Hanskin on these playmaking type heroes. Yes, Magnus can do that, but not from an early point. And you also like the rest of the team to be able to play around with the map quickly, because that's one of the things Nico Baby gets a lot of credit for, is he always understands his timings, he always understands his early participation as a core. But when you're a Magnus jug lineup, you think about going to fight, and then you look at the creep camps and you go, that's a lot of gold over there. I'm like a makeshift alchemist right now.
There's another smoke instantly coming from Vici Gaming. Their mid lane is in a perfect position to take down Limp first and then perhaps a team fight afterwards. But they need to wait gyro, they need to clump up together for the opportunity to blow a target up. If they just go as 3, they won't get the kill. So it's good that they approached mid lane with a little bit of reserve.
Alliance are reluctant here. They understand they at the same time.
This is a good smoke to go from behind and catch him off guard, but the positioning is really good from line.
EYW, look at this, he breaks the smoke, they jump in, Inkswell comes out, Stampede again, wait, Magnus blows up straight away though. X is already being used, the rock's going to be dropped, and the failed bond's moving around. We'll have the kill off Fada. Lim's going to be chased onto next, trying to take life with Spirit Cypher. Omniscience coming out, the damage is big, maybe they get one down. Eurus is going to go down, the Aegis have been popped. Nico Baby spins forward, looking at Xiao Yu next, he might be able to get close enough to clip this kill, but the stomp might be available. Nico Baby, he fluffs it, it goes too early. Nico Baby does get the kill now, they need to get Eurus out in one piece. Limp with the Inkswell chase the floor. DY might be the final casualty for Vici Gaming.
There's the crap fight, he will not fall, they let him go, because he also reached high ground and your exorcism is running out, so you just have to move back. Jug had a couple of good Omni/attacks there, and overall for Alliance the fight wasn't horrible. Fata is the only one that was forced into a buyback. Magnus, considering that he died instantly without popping his RP off, that fight went very well for Alliance. Now if you're Vici Gaming, you don't
feel happy about this, right? You use the rock and they still have the RP.
You don't feel too happy because your gyro has Aghanim's and drums and he's tanky, but he's not super tanky. Once he has that satanic, it will be much easier for him to sustain himself. And this time he did die, but he had Aegis, so
EYW
that's big.
Needs some help up here. Nico be able to spin and TP out as Vici rotate the entire team to try and punish. Meanwhile, Ori, he stays behind to get a solo kill on Fada.
top lane. Centauri is caught, Magnus is caught in the end, and Hanskin will be brought down here by
No help, no
three
team.
of them. Yep.
But Ori's making solo plays around the map here. 33. He's ready to duel because he's got reinforcements coming in. It won't be a duel win, but Ori is definitely going to die here. Stampede. Yules comes out. Where are you going, little boy? You're going back to the orphanage. See you later. A lot of gold. Lim just got almost 800 gold from that kill.
It was an interesting, peculiar play by Ori there. I guess he was thinking that they might be around the top lane, defending.
I think he got
that's why he did that
overconfident as well, right? Like, he just got one kill. He's like, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to distract from the rest of my team.
Yeah, definitely. It happens. And instead of that, instead of decrepifying the Legion and running away, he decrepifies her and starts the suck instantly. And that's never going to work. 3-3 just duels him. They also have the shrine there that they can port to. So that prophet is there, Jug is there, and Ori just feeds away his life, which is a very expensive one. He gives 800 gold to Limp almost.
Definitely. It's not that he sucks in this game, it's that he's overfeeling his net worth advantage. Because it's not often you look in a Pugna game and you look at the net worth chart with a Gyro and a Jug in the game, and you've got a Pugna with a solid lead at the top. It's now disappearing. But you can understand why he feels confident enough to make that type of play. It's the reason he went for this big blast you down Dagon build. But that should be the reset, right? That you have that moment, it happens to the best players, and you're like, okay, calm down, reset. I need to just get it together and play with the team next time. I'm not a one-man army. However, I say that as Ori is in the top lane, all alone again.
He's very fast.
He is
this
indeed.
skill will not happen. Legion Commander is following up, but there's no blink, no mobility, so he'll be able to get out. If you are a Grimstroke, you have to start in a different way there on him. Like, you can't just throw all things well and hope for the best.
Most definitely. You know, if Hanskin's leading on 33, it's different, because you probably would RP for that Pugna alone at this stage. It's worth it. He's spent a lot of time on the sideline. All in all, though, 2.5 minutes until Roche might come up, and you can already see that Alliance are starting to posture around this area, probably getting ready to go for a ward run soon, but the pressure is coming in the bot lane from Vici. This base looks a little bit too empty. Cart coming in. Do a little bit damage to the tower. Force them back to base.
They have perfect vision around Radiant base. If you're Vici Gaming, you're pretty much playing with full info on where Alliance is. If you're Alliance, you're playing with almost no info. You just know that they're somewhere in your jungle. You have pretty poor vision, and that's because the sentry that they planted outside of their base almost clips the ward, but not really.
No, it's just a little bit of tickle off there.
It almost looks like it's in range.
Yeah, it's a deceptive view, especially with these pretty looking wards. And some of these wards are very good. Usually, you kind of like, we can see it and go, it seems a little bit obvious, but you didn't see them sneak in on this bot lane ward, for example, because they hid behind the tree. It's a perfectly placed ward.
And pretty much because of these wards, you know that if Alliance are not bottom or mid, you know that they sneaked out towards top lane. And look at that smoke. That smoke was good. It's a good plan by Alliance, but usually that only works if they don't know where you are. Sadly for Alliance, Vici Gaming, they have a good general idea about where Alliance is, and that most likely they think this. They think they're around the shrine.
Yes.
And they won't be wrong in a second or two, as Jug is leading the way.
DY may have just put his team into a false sense of security because they went for the D ward here, so they might not realize just how close Alliance is.
Alliance with that one ward did scout him out.
Yeah, and he didn't get the D ward either because he was looking for the typical location, but Fada was wise to it. And right now, you can already feel Vici looking for a DD. They're like, Roche is coming up soon. If a double damage spawns when it does, either team could just completely decimate the other.
There's a full smoke coming from Vici Gaming. There's a blink online.
Nico, baby.
Shit. Oh
no. He hexes that. Oh.
You jump sometimes, you hex the creep. Happens to tier 1 teams, as you can see, guys. So next time you get flamed in your chat, in your game, just show them this replay. Happens. Or show them Soshka stunning a board.
Oh, they missed the stun. Fada's going to be fine. Xiao's chasing in with a stampede now. We'll get rid of Fada straight away. The Hex is going to come on a 33 next. Stuns him up, long range. Just the tip, and now the Rocks is dropping free. In trouble. Omistat's going to come out straight away. Buyback from the Legion, trying to get in quick enough. Limp goes in deep. The BKB exits him. All the targets to work with, going for the wall up first, and next on the gyrocopter. In the meantime, Xiao Yu separate from his team. Out of mana, out of life, out of time. He will go down. The movement in the RP. Beautifully done. Nico, baby, looking to pull up now. Going to stay alive. Limp getting alone. Will burn out though. Eurus, he's just doing too much. This gyrocopter is out of control. He's going to chase him down. Nico Baby maybe next to full. Decrepify, trying for the TB, the life drain, and the Hex, ensure that he dies. At 33, not running back to base, running to the side shot because he doesn't even have a TP anymore.
Ori is just winning them these team fights. Overall, Centaur had a good initiation there with the stun, but Ori is making everything happen, everything tick with his spam usage of the Decrepify. Also a really good fight for him to make, as he had that arcane room running, so he blasted people with that Dagon multiple times. Whale was used multiple times, and the Decrepify, most importantly, saved Gyro from the jug. And then after that Omni Slash is done, after the spin is done, it's on Gyrocopters. Like, he just destroys everything.
Yeah, he's just like, everyone hop on this rig. We'll go for a ride on my gyro. Nothing to stop us here. And I think the thing to highlight here is Alliance, the way they're forced to take these fights because of Vici's positioning. You saw it, right? Omni Slash on one side, Exorcism on the other. They're not able to concentrate their firepower to eliminate one member of Vici straight away. And that is costing them dearly in these fights. There's already costing their base a decent amount, as they will lose the tier 3 bot.
They lost one tier 3. Now it's for Vici Gaming to just go and take down the shrines. They're one lane up. That mid lane, Billy Rax is gone.
Look at the range Rax. One little tickle will bring it down now, 10 HP. And Roshi's up, by the way, so Vici, as you said, probably take out those shrines, and you can already see Alliance, they prioritize this. They go, okay, we need to get around the Rosh pit right now. This is do or die. They know this net worth lead is getting debilitating. In fact, it's up to 20,000 for Vici. Not really what you had in mind when you drafted a Magnus Juggernaut lineup. Very typical of a Juggernaut game, right? When you're behind the net worth, you feel it more than most heroes.
He's building into a Maelstrom next. Deciding that he needs a little bit more of that magic damage output. Mjolnir is definitely a good pickup for him. It gives him some more attack speed too, but...
It punishes a BKB-less lineup, right? Like, it's your own play here.
It's great. Yeah, it punishes BKB-less lineup, but there will be a butterfly completed on Jug by the time he gets there, so yes, maybe something like an MKB would be a better option, but...
It's one of those games where the Jug has to sit there and go, okay, I have to just maximize damage in Omni Slash. It's nice that you've got the Scardy, but we've seen what happens afterwards anyway. It doesn't make a difference. He can still die. He needs to get an Omni Slash that instantly kills someone. Maybe 2 would be the preference. And, well, things are going to quiet down for the moment as both teams realize what's at stake here. Eggs and cheese. You give it to Alliance, there's going to be the buffer to get them back in this game and start taking those towers. Give it to Vici, there's going to be the final nail in the coffin of Alliance.
They are just itemizing really well on the side of Vici Gaming. They understood what they have to do and they're doing it. Itemizations are on point. If you look at Ori, he has that A on disc, Lion has one too, so as long as these guys don't get blown up instantly in one duel or one Omni Slash, the team fight is going to be incredibly hard for Alliance, even though they are positioning themselves really well, and this might be their choice. This might be their chance because they're positioned really well around Nico Baby. But at the same time, Vici Gaming, they understand that perfectly, and they also understand that they don't have to rush up that hill. Instead, they will take a little bit of an easier approach straight into the Raxes on the bottom lane.
And now Alliance have to rush back. By the time they get here, the mini Rax will already be gone. It's the problem. They're going to move him with the spin straight away. Try to slow down Eurus a little bit here, but he's protected by the lower sword. And he's going to take the range Rax as well. Black Cannon doing a lot of damage here also. Backfire almost going down. X is going to be used. Jump in with the BKB. Limp chasing in, but Gyro is right clicking him down right now. He needs to get more Spirit Siphons out. They're going to turn around on Eurus right now, but they can barely actually put a dent into him. He's still got the standing to work with if he gets a little bit too low. X, Nico Baby, does get the almost sash out. RP, follow up as well. Looking good. Going to bring him down. Gyrocopter dead for 90 seconds. Centaur might go down as well. He's just about gone. And now Pugner, Aeon Disc is going to be proc. Silence follow up as well. He's leashed to the Golem. I don't know if this is a doggy in his own or the other way around. He's going to blink out just in time with the Decrepify, so they won't find him, but they may still be able to go straight for the Roach Pit now because Gyro's gone for 70.
Gyro's going for 70 and they have to make something happen out of that. They just lost another side. If they didn't lose that side and they took the fight, that could have been good for them. But this way, You're 2 sides down. It's not the end of the world. It's not too bad for Alliance, but they didn't get a whole lot. And look at this. They're also wasting a lot of time taking down this tier 1 on the mid lane. It's not a waste of time because you need to take it down.
You can't go Roche before that.
Tier 1 definitely allows Vici Gaming to respawn and get to the Roche a bit easier, but...
Oh, they definitely won't get there now, though. The DD, the infamous DD in front of the pit. Which means Aegis and Cheese in the hands of Alliance, a much-needed buffer for them. They've started to bring that network down a little bit, but it's still a long way to go. Likely they take this, go straight back to base, take control of those 2 lanes, and ensure that the side of Vici cannot get into their base.
Yeah, they will have the cheese to work with as well. The Vlads on 3-3 is an item that we haven't really mentioned way too much. That item definitely helps out the Jug quite a lot too. It's all about buffing this beast up, and we talked about his item build earlier when he had Mjolnir queued up. He changed it into the MKB as soon as he saw the butterfly on Gyro, and that's definitely a much better option for him. I'm happy that he did that for his own sake, obviously. And this game is definitely still in Vici Gaming's hands.
But it got a little interesting now.
They're 18k ahead, but there are plays that Alliance can make to bring it back to at least the even grounds.
Yes.
If you manage to catch that RP again the same way.
Which they have in 10 seconds, so Vici may get punished for this over-aggressive play. Jump in, Hex gonna come out, looking on the limb, Finger down to half HP, Dagon as well. It's close, but he eats the cheese. Now the turnaround opportunity there. Hanscom pushed away from his team. Pops the air on this, Limb going in deeper, BKB to stop the stop from infecting. Stampede's gonna come out though. The silence was too late.
If these 2 get out, it's alright. It's not too bad for, yeah. Warlock is out, so is Centaur, I believe. Doesn't have a TP, but he should be fine. Vici Gaming, they're fine with this. They just forced every single member of Alliance to go back to the bottom lane. And they're playing versus Aegis and Cheese. They also forced the Cheese out. Yeah, killing that Prophet, killing Limp was the play. That was the plan, but it didn't really... the plan didn't work.
You minimize your losses.
But they minimized their losses, exactly. Lion is the only one that fell. And also, they got something out of it. And that something is a little bit of map control. However, Gyro is in vision. Yeah, needs to be careful. Once they use that RP, it's very important for DUI to counter it with his rock.
But if they get the Omni Slash out, the rock suddenly becomes useless unless you can stack more heroes on top of Eurus. And Nico, baby,
DUI?
He has got the Omni. He's ready to rock. In fact, he almost has a nullifier now. This is the big item that could turn it around, because you saw how much time an Aeon Disc, for example, bought that Lion. He wasted a lot of the core members of Alliance's time. That's why Limp was chasing alone. Now Limp wants to hit on some towers. He does have the Exorcism level 3. Try and force a fight on top of it though. Zhao Yu has got the Stampede for 10. We'll be able to get away though.
There's the low sword prevents Nico Baby from even thinking about going in with Omni Slash. Obviously you're playing versus a Pugna too, so you can't do that. They move back. Overall, it's on Vici Gaming to delay it a little bit. They can fight if they see the right opportunity to do so. But they don't have to. Just defending and waiting for that Aegis to expire is probably the best option for them.
A little bit spooky. Zhao Yu blinks away before they can jump him. They do get the tower, and they'll probably move towards top, maybe try and get another tier 2. But this looks like it's a fake back opportunity. But Vici won't bite.
Very unlikely that Vici are going to go and bite that bait, go for that kill, go for that push up to high ground, because they're very disciplined about the way they move across the map.
However, they see a target again. Alliance, Inkswell, Limp, ready to move in. Got the blue there, Zhao Yu, he used the Stampede. He might be in trouble here though. They don't go for the duel. Instead, they're going to use him up. It's going to come down, slow down still, but Limp has used the BKB. He has to back out.
I just have to commend Warlock and his patience in this fight. I have to say that it's really good from him to not drop that rock, even though he had like 5-man bonds there. So many different players would just go in instantly and follow up with rock and then force their whole team in a really bad situation. I think this rock should be used as counter initiation, and that's pretty much all.
Use it. You hold it. The fact you maybe have it is even worse than using it actively in this type of game right now, right?
Just use it to break Omnis, to break Blade Fury from Juggernaut once he comes on. That RP always has to be followed by Jug, and if Jug is stopped by the rock, that buys you a few extra seconds perhaps for Gyro to pop his Satanic and start fighting. though. It's
Which, by the way, Jaro has a DD, Satanic, Basher in his backpack right now, and the Aegis runs out in 30 seconds.
and the most important thing that this Jaro has got is his teammates, because friends are the most important thing in life, Pigeon.
It's beautiful. That's why I like to cast for you.
In this particular game, one of his friends has fatal bonds, and these fatal bonds will make Jaro hit much harder than he usually does.
It's kind of messed up, isn't it? You know, you're talking about the bonds of friendship, and then there's this bond that causes fatality.
That's the point. That's the point.
The friendship can be deadly as well as wonderful.
Yeah, for your enemies. If you have good friends.
Well, we might get to see the power of friendship. Vici moving in towards the high ground. Limp is guarding, has the BKB and the exorcism. They walk down, but that's not the optimal target. It's hard to burst him down at this point.
You probably don't want to go there.
No.
And they instantly smoke up, move back, go for the shrine. It's an easy target as well. The smoke has passed. You don't want to go uphill. Definitely next to an active shrine, you don't. So
even the power of friendship cannot overcome the high ground advantage.
Exactly.
I've seen enough Star Wars reruns to know that. Instead, things will calm down. So, Roche maybe up again in 2.5 minutes is important. They'll, at that point, get control of the bot lane that's pushing in again.
It's very difficult situation for them when it comes to taking Roche, because down. So mid lane has to be outpushed and the bottom lane. And if someone is out pushing bot, well, they're not in the Roche lane. And it makes it a little bit easier for Vici Gaming to take a fight around there. Do they have any travels? They don't have any travels on the alliance, so whoever is on the bottom lane will find it hard to rejoin the fight around the pit. However, one good thing is, though, Vici Gaming, they were a little bit too eager to take down Raxes before they took down all the shrines, and because of that, the top shrine is a massive strategical checkpoint for Alliance. If they lost this shrine earlier, the game would be much easier for Vici Gaming and much harder for Alliance. However, Vici Gaming, they kind of skipped their steps and the game is a little bit harder now.
And also, we might see Booster travel soon from 33 because he's got a lot of gold stacked up and he hasn't bought anything yet. In fact, almost 2,000 in surplus. He goes to the Blink though. Respectable choice. Realizing if I can just duel the Warlock, we're not scared anymore.
Under attack.
If I can just duel anything, I can have my worth. Meanwhile, on the side of Vici, what is the next big pickup? What is really left? What does a true carry need? Well, he wants to complete his Mjolnir, and we're not at Divine Rapier territory. If you're in this game, you're Vici. Maybe that's what you're looking at afterwards, but you go, Moonshard's probably more likely here. We don't need extra damage, right?
You can get Rapiers later on if the game looks really hairy, but right now you don't really want to.
It's more risk than worth. Now they jump in, the RP comes out straight away. The rock's going to be dropped though. Jarek popped up, leash on Tomb and the Golem moving forward on Nico, baby, who would be able to move away quick enough. But Hanskin, he's actually up on the cliff at the moment. The Stampede will retreat them out. PYW needs to leave with DY quickly. Nico, baby.
They're going for Death Prophet.
They are, because Lim gets bashed up on the side. He ran the exorcism and now he needs to run away.
Now they retreat because there is the exorcism that has been used. So both sides using quite a lot of ultimates, big ultimates. On one side the Rock, on the other the exorcism. Omni Slash is still there though. And you can see that I think Alliance should be happy with how that went, considering they initiated very separately.
They won't be happy with this though, Liz. 15 seconds till Roche is up. Worst case scenario for Alliance, this quick spawn.
Not necessarily. On one side you don't have RP, on the other you don't have rocks, so...
We don't have Exorcism as well though, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much on even grounds besides the Exorcism. The Exorcism is definitely a big one. That Prophet not having that to work with could put a dent in Alliance's team fighting capabilities.
And that means there's even more onus on catching Gyro far out position. If you get a solo Omni Slash, you probably kill him before you can heal up, but they have the means to close the distance. You know, even if you're Zhao Yun and you're far away, you'll probably blink on top of the Gyro just to share the damage and ensure he doesn't die. As I mentioned, you will have the Stampede in 15 seconds, and it looks like Alliance have to forfeit what's going to happen here. In fact, they bait themselves in going for an illusion. And that'll ensure that Vici managed to get their hands on the Aegis Cheese and Refresher Shard here.
They will pick it up, and the game will be, well,
not over, but definitely on the ropes. Alliance, they're going to have to pull out a miraculous hold here.
what can they even do? Let's see. There's going to be a Refresher Shard picked up, Cheese on Centaur Aegis obviously on Gyrocopter. If you're Alliance, you have to find a way.
Strike.
Like right now, if you're a team that's in a position such as this one, you can do two things: GG out, or try to somehow fight this next team fight and kill the Gyro without using any big ultimates, so that you can take him out the second time with your big ultis. But it's much easier said than done.
Skill, Pigs well. Gyrocopter's been done too as well. Stunned up, down to half HP already. Nullify means he can't help the Satanic. It's running out soon. The stun in return. Now look at Nico, baby. Can they get Nola? Yours coming out. Sorbine linking him with a Centaur. Now the Abyssal. Turn around. Nico, baby. Down to half HP. They can't kill him off. Megan's got Omni Slash. Xiaoyu. No! Nico, baby. Worst case scenario for the Juggernaut's ultimate. Now they jump in. RP. Gyrocopter second time skewers him away. They may have gotten far enough out. But the Nullify, he can't do anything but die. He's down. Rock gets dropped. Dual controllers out to Pugner as well. Ori next on the hit list. And Nico, baby, he can't find it. Blink away in time. They'll clean up the Rock, and Alliance are holding.
There you go. That's it. That's what they had to do. That skewer Inkspell combo with the Jug was perfect to take down the Gyro without wasting any big ultis. And then after he respawns, you have the Dead Prophet ulti. Omni Slash was whiffed there. Wasn't really that necessary to be used in such a manner. But Alliance, they do hold. They find the right way to approach that team fight. But most importantly, I think they punished Vici Gaming's lack of discipline. If you are Vici Gaming, ROTK, is he still a coach? Because he's going to be really angry. You can't just...
Quite possibly. You know what, it's one of those scenarios. It's where you've been going through the battlefield, and you know how people, they kick or they stab the corpses to see if they're still alive, and you get to one body that you ignore, and that's the guy that's still alive and jumps up behind you and just finishes you off. And great discipline from Alliance, perfect use of the spells, and this just shows you how much an item like Nullifier especially can change the outcomes of games, because while it is 19k net worth lead now for Vici, that's a wake-up call. Right now, they realize any other slip-up like that, it could cost you so much now.
You just have to play your team fights properly, and you can't push high ground versus a team that's as good as Alliance and hope for the best. You can't just hope for the best. You have to give it your best and then, you know, proceed into this push. And your best is usually in these kind of situations a pick off or two. You go on the side, you find someone. After you find someone, then you go to high ground. You force them to use their buybacks. You put them out of their comfort zone. When you're on the high ground, the most important thing that you have got going for yourself is vision, like they see them right now.
Yeah, and Vici on the low ground here, moving away. Nico Baby chases in, Hex comes out. Blink forward, they didn't actually connect though. Able to move away in time, stand people, ensure they escape. And that long-range stun will not land on a limb. He is fast enough.
Legion Commander still hiding in the pit.
Apparently no one reminded either of these teams that Roche isn't going to be up for at least another 4.5 minutes.
It's all about taking map control and high ground presence. That's why they're fighting around here. Obviously, Vici Gaming, they want to pass on to the Radiant side of the map.
Yeah, this is it's also neutral ground, right? This is World War I's no man's land, because everyone in this game has buyback. So you're just trying to pivot any advantage. Even if it's a support pickoff, if you can then roll that into a buyback, that gives you a win condition on either side. Smoke from the line.
Smoke. They will run into Gyrocopter first, it seems, and this could be huge for them.
Jump in, X is an active edge. You all to control him up, get the rest of the team here. Skewer back as well. Gyro pretty deep, trying to punish that green, no BKB. The rock gets dropped, trying to turn around, nullify. Obby said no, he gets in, visit time, let's keep safe. There's stuff coming out for the Alliance. They're still fighting up against this. Limb has all the Spirit Siphons running with the Exorcist, and they'll be able to bring down DY at this rate, but he's so tanky. Finally, he will fall. Duel on the side to make sure Pugner can't assist though. Lim's BKB runs out. Turns around, nullify, Gyro. Will he go down? Nico Baby has to move away from the golems. Long range stun, press the attack to protect. Glimmer Cape remains that the Dagon does no damage, and well, what's going to happen now? Xiaoyu, that's a bit greedy going back in. Can they punish it though? Nullify slows him down. Will allow them to kill off the Centaur, so 2 fallen. The buyback comes out the Warlock. Will they keep him alive? Centaur lives. Homer Missile chasing in return. Eurus trying to fight here on Nico Baby. They get the start. He's already used the spear. They need to protect him right now. Glimmer Cape, RP, Hankin trying to save them right now. They jump in, but no. Magnus has to leave. They need to leave him behind. They're going to follow through. Varda caught in the river as well, but everything to ensure that Nico Baby lives, and barely does he at 200 HP.
And that's RP catches so many, but they're not in place. They're not.
He couldn't turn around.
Yeah, Jug cannot be there.
You wish you could, because that's a winning RP.
That's so unfortunate right there, and now they just move on to the high ground to push it, as you don't have Magnus, you don't have RP.
Fuel coming in at Ori alone, stops to try and slow it down, but Soulbind and Sans are looking together, so Nico Baby can go pie on the other side of the fight. Lim moves out as well. Looking on the Warlock, he did buy back, can't afford to go down this quickly. Gyro, soloed out again, 33 zoned them away, they were getting low, but the Dagon, 33, barely lives, get out life drain range, just in time. Vissel, yeah, Inkswell, spin, Nico Baby gets stunned up though, Eurus will get stunned in return. Nico Baby gets up to the high ground, the buyback comes out as 33 did not manage to make it out of there in one piece. And now they come into the base. They're knocking at your door. What's your response? Dagon moves in, gets him low. Juggernaut, press the attack just in time. No, the stinger! The long range buyback comes out. Now it gets risky, a little bit frisky. Limp has to buy back as well as he goes down, but Eurus still has not been addressed. He's in your base. The upheaval will cover it. Nico Baby, no Omni Sack for 25 seconds. They want to go, but they need to wait. They just need to slow this down. Can't afford to lose the melee racks like this, but Eurus will not leave with anything less. And they will get both. That will be Mega Creeps for Vici secured.
That will be more. They're not leaving. At least not right now. Magnus is still dead for 9 seconds.
But they have to respect the ultimates. They're coming soon. Nico Baby has it in 5. Same for Limp. They're trying to end this right now. This might bite them in the butt if they're not careful. Soulbind links 2 together. Moving in. BKB. Limp chases Silence out. Exits them as well. Omnisack bounces across. Brings one down. Turns around the duel. Finds the other. Gyro's dead. Xiao, you can't end the game for him. He's going to fall as well. And now it gets a little bit shaky. Vici will get their supports out at least. But they did commit some buybacks before. And what they got left? Gyro, though, support on one. Pugger, all their cores on Vici still have buybacks. And Alliance need to force them.
They still have buybacks, they have mega creeps to work with, so if you're on the side of Alliance, you need to find a way to outpush every single lane and also push in. With Jug and Dead Prophet, you can definitely do that. Dead Prophet's ulti, however, is problematic. It's not there yet. Maybe he can sell an item and buy that refresher, or just continue out pushing. Also, one big thing that they do not have is travels. Travels nowhere near on Magnus, travels nowhere near on Limp. So when you're out, when you're up against Megas, that's one of the items that will really make your game a little bit easier. As Nico Baby now is pushing mid, and he can definitely take down a tower alone. He's protected by a Legion Commander, but he needs his teammates.
And they need to stop this upheaval.
Now they're converging. They're coming towards the Jug.
But this is scary, right? That upheaval alone, you sit there, you go, okay, I can spin in and hit the tower, but how the hell do I get out? And they're doing such a good job of wasting his time.
And that Agnes from Lion is a problem already. You can see it.
Moving in. Limp can't clip onto the line though. They at least get tier 3 tower. They'd like to be able to get racks before they have to leave, but it's 20 seconds till the gyro is up, and you can't leave this too tight. Jump in, 33. Nope, doesn't get the duel out this time. Ori has gotten wise here. It's like, not again. This might be the lead point. If you stay, this could be punished. They have Stampede. Centaur's up. 5 seconds till gyro. Stun is out onto Nico. Baby press the attack is already used. Now the rock follow. Zap him down with a finger. Juggernaut getting low. Stop. BKB just in time. Limp has to cover the escape. Nullify. They're chasing out with the Warlock. He says, kill me, please. Just hit me. I want to explode. And Nico Baby, he says no. TP away just in time. No bashes in range to make his day worse, but Fada, however, gets left behind. He has no buyback, will die off.
That's the gem as well, but no one cares about that gem anymore. Oh, Impale. Oh, not really there yet.
Just trying for the tickle.
Yeah, he had to be a little bit closer. Impale is a weird one. Like, it gets more range if you don't select the target, but not that much range. Even with the Aether Lance, it's just not good enough. So
now
they go straight towards mid.
Exactly. There's a piece of good news, though, for Alliance, and that's that the Roach wasn't up, so it's not like you have to kill him twice. However, you have to go now. The duel's going to come out straight on the Warlock, but no, they can't do anything to Krem to protect him. Now the RP, they turn around. Omnisack, looking good. Going to bring them down. Gets another one. Gyro left alone. Going to try to heal up and fire up against this. He might be able to this late into the game. Nico Baby trying to protect himself with a spin. They stun him up. He turns around. PYW. Aeon Disc gets proc. Looks like it's going to go down. Nico Baby popped out and dead. No way back into this. The GG comes out. They achieve it. Gyro is aim to a victory for Vici, and Alliance, despite their best efforts, lose game 1. What a game indeed as well. I mean, that was shaky. On the edge of your seat, that's what you like to see with the RP Omni/combos. There were some risky moments, and I mean, it just felt like from an early point, Alliance, we said it earlier on, they have this aggression that just wasn't there this time around, right?
It was there, like, they had some aggression, but the problem is the aggression was thwarted by Vici Gaming and their complete understanding on how they should play versus Magnus, and juggernaut. That's the problem. On one side, you have this Jug that's farming all the time, but he never truly gets to have his usual impact because he's controlled by a lot.
Vici Gaming's turn to ban.
And as a drafter, you have to decide, do I ban out that hero or do I ban out the draft that's built around him that makes that hero work? And instead of banning out Void, they decided to ban out the Jakiro this time around because Jakiro was definitely that extra oomph, that extra amount of damage that Void always had when he was in Alliance's hands. And when you have Macropyre in that Chrono, it's not even anymore about the Chrono, it's about the Macropyre, which is burning you down. So overall, I see why they ban out the Jakiro. It does keep heroes such as Shadow Demon in the pool, even for Vici Gaming to pick up. They could go for a position 5 Demon. It's a good save versus Faceless World, but Oracle is also a really good save. Interesting though, if you were EU or NA, you would, or CIS even, this would be a Shadow Demon for sure. Like 100%, if you're picking a save, you're picking Shadow Demon over Oracle. But Vici Gaming, maybe they have some sort of a different plan. They go for the Oracle. We'll see what they'll follow up it with.
It's always nice to see these collisions between different continents because you do get these different flavors. Oracle seems to have fallen off, even for teams like Liquid. I don't really see Inseni running anymore, and he was pretty renowned for picking that hero. He loved that hero.
Yeah, he was picking it all the time, but they aren't picking that Oracle any longer. See what Alliance goes for next. They could use some damage in that Chronosphere, definitely.
Yeah.
They lost the opportunity to pick up that Jakiro, so usually right now, if you're thinking about that Chrono damage, you're thinking about your mid hero, but definitely won't be picked now.
I think there's a smart, like, the thing we didn't highlight is, like, it was smart the way that Vici banned that Jakiro because it's because they saw the Rubik ban, right? Like, you don't mind a Jakiro in a game if you can get the Rubik because that ice path duration is absurd.
Exactly. Interesting that Vici Gaming picks Ember Spirit right now in the second stage after the Oracle. Definitely allows them to move across the map a bit faster. Still doesn't give away if Lina is position 4 or mid, as Ember can go safe lane, but you can guess that Lina is like 90% position 4. Shadow Demon, though, works really well versus Oracle, also versus Ember Spirit and Centaur. Shadow Demon came into the meta partly because of heroes such as Centaur, as you have that percentage base HP removal. And if you use it on Centaur, you just mess him up really hard. Then again, it's not only good versus Centaur. In this particular game, you have a good combination of heroes with Mirana and SD. You also can mess with Oracle quite effectively because his ultimate and heals, they are completely negated by Shadow Demon's Purge. So Oracle, if he pops that ulti, all you have to do as Shadow Demon is purge the target and it won't receive healing as it ticks over time. Ember Spirit as well can be messed up by Shadow Demon. Flame Guard obviously very susceptible to that purge cleanup. And now we have Legion Commander, some more cash from Alliance, but their teamfight capabilities in that Chrono are definitely lacking. They have to do something with their mid hero.
But where this is improved upon, the issue they had last game is that last game they gave 33 this Legion and they genuinely threw him under, like, the only way I can describe it is they threw him under the bus.
They might do that again.
Really? You don't think that, like, the Mirana's going to start in the lane and come back occasionally?
They might do that again because you have
the combo.
Void and you have Shadow Demon plus Mirana. And also Legion Commander plus Mirana doesn't really sound too scary, even though they could do that. I believe Alliance will at least start as a tri-lane and then rotate the Mirana towards Legion Commander, if they even rotate her.
But you know
we'll
the
see.
difference here, Liz, right? Like, they can rotate. I think the problem when they had this for Magnus is there wasn't a possibility that they could come and fix the lane when it started going wrong.
Definitely. They put way too much into a Juggernaut that last game, a Juggernaut that was countered by multiple heroes. I mean, you can't truly counter that hero too hard, but the Crepify messes with him a little bit. You also had the Rock versus the Spin. So overall, they had some ways of dealing with him. This time around, their draft, it looks more like Alliance have ways of dealing with Vici Gaming. One thing Alliance does not have is proper disable and stuns. You have Chronosphere, you have Duel, you have your Arrow, but two are big ultimates and one isn't really that reliable to use unless you have Shadow Demon around too. Alliance, they could pick a midder that deals damage in the Chrono and has some disables. If I could only think of one. I think of Invoker, but there's Ember versus you. So
How do
maybe
you
that's
like-
not the greatest option for Limp.
How do you like someone like a Storm Spirit this game? For Alliance? I don't think Limp plays it as the problem. I don't think I've ever seen Limp. I'm probably wrong about that. I feel like because of Limp, we've got to be looking at the typical choices, right? DK, DP, TA.
DP sounds about right. I was thinking about TA too, but it did work out for them. That was it. Alliance that drafted it? No, it was someone else, right?
Alliance, I think I've had
They did
TA.
play it once. They did play it once recently though, and it worked out well for them.
That was in the finals, right?
Yeah, Limp was playing versus Invoker in the finals and he crushed Annihilate. So definitely you can grab a TA here versus Ember Spirit. It's not too difficult. Later on, Ember Spirit can jump on top of you and mess with your shield, but really worry too much. Also, you're ranged. Let's see, they ban out the Alchemist. That tells me it might be something else, something different. Alliance goes for.
Maybe a melee typed hero.
OD as well is an option. It's not banned out. You can deal with Ember quite effectively. You have Void as well with you.
It'd be a DK. I'm thinking because Alchemist, like, you want a hero. If you pick DK, it's not the best. It's not CS. Yes, he reduces damage, but he still has a Quelling Blade.
See, that
DP.
Prophet, they just go with full comfort zone. They played that Prophet before and now they pick it up again. Now, is it the best hero for their lineup? They think that it is, and also that Prophet brings you some pushing capabilities. They definitely lacked a little bit in that area. They definitely needed some more pushing utilities, and that Prophet brings that to the table. Also brings you some mid-game potential. While Void is farming, you can play around that Prophet and Legion Commander.
It definitely fixes the early aggression issues this time around.
It fixes their early aggression issues. It does not fix their initiation problems and their catch problems. That AoE silence is really good versus Oracle and Ember Spirit. That's something that I really have to say. That Prophet in that way looks really good. But they have ways of getting on top of that Prophet. However, it is a little bit of a better game for DP, as you have Shadow Demon plus Legion Commander. You have 2 saves. And if they do jump on top of that Prophet, they always have to be careful of a follow-up from Void. So I like this Alliance's draft. I liked it just as much as that last one. I think it has its positive sides and negative sides. It's on Vici Gaming now to respond to the Death Prophet. There aren't too many heroes that can deal with her. Ember Spirit is most likely going to be their mid anyway, so they have to be thinking about their safe laner.
You need someone that carries on and takes over right now, because that's the thing they're lacking. Like, Ember can take you to a certain point, but who's gonna close the race?
Usually when you're playing versus a Void, you're thinking about something like a Wraith King that has 2 lives versus Duel as well. It's good versus a Void and Legion Commander, but does it win you the game later on? We'll see what they go for. Instead, they go for Medusa. Ooh, alright, something a bit more greedier.
A lot more greedy.
A lot more greedy, a lot more tanky too. It will be played by Ori as well. So we might see this Medusa go mid.
Likely she'll move away from the lane, so Limp should get easier opportunities to try and push on the Taz compared to the last game with the Pugna. And that might be the different factor, because when you think about like this DP last game, you had some great exorcisms later on, but there was never that early pressure that you usually see from these kind of tempo carries out of the mid lane. But this game, it feels a lot more open that you can actually make those rotations and get towers off it.
Yeah, they have that early game potential. They also have late game potential with Nico Baby's Void. But then again, you are playing versus a Medusa, and even though Faceless Void is great, you are playing versus an Oracle, so there are some saves involved too. Interesting though. I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that DY is playing Oracle instead of snatching that Shadow Demon. They had an option to snatch Shadow Demon. Even when you're thinking about Medusa, it sounds better. Not only versus Void, but yeah, they like their Oracle a little bit more.
I mean, when you think Oracle, you usually think something like a troll, right? Because you think of all that immunity, that I can't die moment. Whereas Medusa, it's not this one you typically think of as needing the Oracle clutch save. Because if you do, you're probably already dead.
You have the Shadow Demon too. And Shadow Demon versus Oracle, even though you have the Purge, you have the Purge versus Shadow Demon's spells too.
We also have MVP talk. Hello, people in Dota TV. Go watch the ESL broadcast. Help them actually afford to run these events because they're awesome events. Stop freeloading. All right, with that info out of the way, let's go into the info specific to this game. We were talking a little bit about the Oracle, but on the other side, the Shadow Demon does exist, and
it kind of goes both ways. In one way, DY, he messes with Shadow Demon's poison stacks as he has that Fortune Sand to work with. On the other hand, you have Fata with Demonic Purge, which messes with Oracle's ulti quite a lot, so we'll see which one comes out on top, but Shadow Demon definitely is followed up by Hanskin. You have your Disruption into Arrow combo on this top lane, and because of that, Centaur might have a difficult lane to be on. Last game, he fed the first blood, but he still did quite well. He still did dominate. Oh my God.
He shook it off, but you know what this is right now? They're marking him for death.
Everyone
stack all the tips up. It's like, by the way, Zhao Yu, you will be first to fall.
He's trying to spin, but he's not successful. That's why.
No, he's wondering why Juggernaut offlane's not a thing. He's going to move in now with his supports to try and secure the runes. Hanskin has got the arrow, though. He's a little bit paranoid, and they're just going to sneak around and steal one. The problem is they're hanging it.
Arrow does
actually hit him.
Yeah, but
back into it.
They have to be careful about the amount of damage that they do to him because of Retaliate as well. So they got him low, but they pretty much just helped him out.
Yes, he
has Retaliate now 10 stacks, and the lane should start a little bit easier for him. But you have to be careful too. Fata is there. He is thinking about that disruption.
I guess they're not worried about the Retaliate, because, you know, if you stun the little pony, there's nothing you can do but die.
Yeah, but he's going to be in the middle of the fight, in between creeps. However, Oracle is an easier target too.
Oh, they might trap him in here. You see some trees and escape. Light Strike Array is fluff.
Shadow Demon has to be careful here too.
Well, he'll at least get the first blood, and he'll just walk out. Zhao Yu couldn't do enough with that level 1 Retaliate.
Yeah, this is the tri-lane that we expected. We didn't really expect tri-lane from both sides, as Oracle will change that and move towards bottom.
You have to. There's no way you leave an Ember alone against Legion.
Exactly. That really wasn't a choice for him to make. Even he has to go bottom. However, that leaves Lina and Centaur on the top lane. And even though Centaur is always around creeps, he will get stunned here.
He is meat and pot. He is indeed stunned. Because he can retaliate, he has no way to protect himself, and PYW realizes he can't assist in that.
Yeah, it's your classic tri-lane with Shadow Demon and Mirana. It's very difficult to play against. And because of that, Lina is going behind, trying to get this creep wave, but Shadow Demon is porting in, and he will catch her.
They will.
He has no cooldown on Disruption, though, so he's waiting one more second. Now he's got him. Let's see.
Like, there's the LSA. Adorable. Here, get an arrow in return. We have stuns, too, and we also have even more kills. It's the classic combo. Alliance, they're making it work.
They're making it work, but even though Lina dies here, he did a good thing, because he took a lot of aggression away from Centaur, who's able to get to level 2, also who's able to take a full creep wave next and perhaps farm it before Void is there.
Oh, speaking of farm, later on, look at this. Alliance, free camp stacked right away.
Really, really well played by. They're very efficient when it comes to stacking. They've been stacking quite a lot in that last game too, and everyone is giving credit where credit is due to Nico Baby. He's been playing out of his mind. He's one of the main reasons why they won Dream League Season 12, but
where does he get that gold, Liz?
He gets a lot of gold from stacks. He can join the fights all the time when he knows that once these fights are over, juicy stacks are waiting for him. So he definitely does enjoy having such capable supports as his teammates, Hanskin and Fata. They're on fire recently.
Definitely. For 33, he's not being pressured as hard as last game. He is suffering a little bit on the CS, but the mid's looking fairly decent as well, as Limp has been getting a few deniers in. And, well, there you go. It always happens. Whoever finds the rune, and the regen rune conveniently for a hero who's out of mana. You love life right now.
Limp has that to work with. However, if you are Ori, you can use that Mystic Snake again to take that mana back. So thank you for taking that region. Let me take your mana back. Top lane, we see another arrow.
Move in, jump straight across. He does have the stomp, but they're not close enough right now. Nico Baby will be stunned up by the LSA coming out.
He has 5 stacks, he's dead.
Xiao Yu, he is definitely dead.
Fata gets the kill with 5 stacks on him. And it's such an easy lane to play if you're Alliance. But then again, you're tri-laning and 3-3. Let's see how 3-3 is doing. He's moving back to base. He's running back. He's like, all right, guys, as long as you're dominating their offlaner, I'm fine. But 7 CS versus 20 on the Ember isn't really great, but Centaur has 2 CS, so...
Yes, and this time around, they're getting their values. They find another arrow, also lean into that choke point. And this is the difference, right, in this type of game, whereas before, you were kind of investing in value later. So it wasn't like 33 could write it off and go, it's okay, you're winning your other lane right now. This time around, they're completely just destroying Vici's lane.
5 stacks again.
Yeah.
Centaur.
Oh, that's painful.
Really low.
He has a salve at least.
Had the salve. He also had an Oracle there. Oracle could have purged him earlier, but opted not to because he sees the Centaur has 10 stick charges and just waits with the purge to use it aggressively instead. Yeah, this lane is definitely the most interesting one right now in the game.
What's the alternatives? A DP Medusa lane or a Legion and Ember 1-3-6? It's the only choice we have here, Liz.
Well, mid lane actually is going down because Limp and Ori, they're battling it out.
He has the Fairy Fire on the stick though, so he'll be fine.
Has the Fairy Fire stick and the salve to work with, so he just forced a lot of damage onto Ori, and now he moves back, salves up, mangoes up, and he's good to go again.
Oh no, the mana. A little bit of a mistake there, Lim getting
top lane. We see the arrow again on the Centaur, but this time around I don't think this is a kill unless
the poison though.
comes.
I think the poison's the bigger deal here, Liz. If they get up to 4, they can right-click him low enough that he should die
it's
here.
level 1 poison, he has sticks, he's fine.
DY might die though, they change targets. They go for the easy one. Let's see if we ran down. One more bash would do it, or just a casual tap as Nico Baby gets himself another kill.
They get the Oracle, but most importantly they get some bounty runes, 3-3 on the bottom lane, and Hans can on the top lane get 2. Meanwhile, to go for Vici Gaming as well. Centaur and Ember picks him up. It's all about December and how well he does after the laning stage for Vici Gaming, because even though they lost the top lane quite convincingly, Centaur really didn't have a good time there. He's only level 3. Ember Spirit had a lot early on, and he'll be able to rotate after he hits that small peak of his, like level 6 or 7. And that's where the fun starts for Vici Gaming, because these 4 heroes will have to create quite a lot of space for their Medusa. Medusa is a hero that can fight earlier. It's not... Medusa isn't really what people consider her usually to be, like this super late game farmer. Well, she's not only that. She's not only super late game concentrated hero. If you itemize her properly, you can come online a little bit earlier in the mid game.
He is quite awkward to do that. Nice arrow dodge. Block rather coming in from center. Nice. Moving the bash. Oh, LSA, sidestep, jump in. Starstorm comes out. PYW getting low, and Limp is indeed coming around the back. He has the exorcism, but I don't know if they need it for the tower. They might just pop it here as they've got the Cardi barely alive. And Xiao Yu, speaking of alive, he's definitely not going to be for much longer. Stop by this time. Hands good. Going to go down. DY does snatch kill in response with the exorcism. They'll commit for the kill and the tower afterwards. LSA on the Fada. DY is going to be trapped in, getting Fada low. He's healing up, but not enough. Full DY in return to go down though. As the 2 cores from Alliance walk away victorious.
They force the glyph, and because of that, the exorcism, well, it is running short. Well. They have to go back. Yeah, they have to go back. Mirana has ported after dying mid to just defend the tower. So has Shadow Demon. Perhaps they can make a kill here instead. But that top lane rotation, it's all right for Limp. He was involved in a couple of kills, but they do lose their 2 supports though, as Oracle and Lina played that really well. They really played that defense well.
It was one of those awkward moments, right? It's one of these big ultimates. You're like, I'm not sure if we need to commit it. If he commits it straight away, there shouldn't be any casualties, but maybe they don't even hang around long enough for you to get the kills at that stage. So it's understandable why Limp holds on to the exorcism as long as he does. Just one of those awkward
We'll see the disruption into the arrow from Mirana. Oracle is around, but is he going to be enough? Let's see.
I don't think so, Liz. This is looking pretty rough. PYW, no chance against this combo. Don't ban Shadow Demon or Mirana at your own peril.
This combo does quite a lot. Usually the problem is what does the enemy team get from you running together with two supports all the time. That's usually space for their other laners, and your two supports that are running around all the time together have less experience than they should have. But when you find so many kills that Shadow Demon and Mirana have managed to do, you're fine. Both level 4.
Might find more. Then been found. Arrow through again. Rinse repeat. A little bit mistimed though. And PYW's wrapping around the back. Hands can back up the time. Nico Baby does have the chrono and is coming in though. Time dilation slows him down. Light Striker ready to try and keep Limp away. With the chrono. Max value. Let's get the two of them, Miss A. Xiao Yu will be bashed up and killed. And DY, he can't get away either. 3 stacks already on him. The damage should be enough to overwhelm him.
He runs away. Limp dove so hard though. He didn't really find the kill that he was looking for, and that was the Lina kill, but they do find 2 others. Good rotation by Nico Baby. They're realizing that he can join the fight super easily with his Void, uses that first chrono, and allows Alliance to take down 2 members of Vici Gaming.
Meanwhile, bot lane still being relatively quiet, and Legion is a fairly decent amount of gold behind the Ember, but 33 looking a bit more alive in this game compared to the last one. Hasn't died yet, at least. Team on top. It's going to happen again. Hansky moving in. And actually, he didn't have the arrows. He'd been farming with it a little bit greedy. So Xiao Yu should be fine. They might try and turn around if they're not careful.
Plus, they have to be super careful about these things, that this aggression that they're putting on the top lane, because soon, very soon, Ember Spirit will start his rotations. And once that happens, if you're way too aggressive and way too deep, he's going to clean you up. So, if you're Alliance, you did so well so far, but you have to chill a little bit.
Yeah, instead of rotating towards 33 and trying to actually get a kill into the Ember, they keep
Void, he has no chill. Nico Baby goes in.
Here we go, LSA, interrupt, the arrow comes out, and no chill for Oracle. DY won't get away. That's a mega kill streak ready for Nico Baby, just in time for the runes. Eurus will get both the bot ones though. 33 doesn't dare walk away from his tower.
The Centaur jumps top and snatches 1 bounty on 2, so he might be able to TP away. Let's see, they are hunting. They're hunting, and Limp is coming as well.
Gets through with the Spirit Siphon as well. They'll be able to bring down Xiao Yu. Limp says thank you very much. Medusa did move across with the DD though. Oh, nice false promise. Stampede gets him out. And they just have to run away from Ori. It's a little bit scary at this point with that DD on the Medusa.
Very interested in seeing Eurus come online with his Ember Spirit once he starts his rotations, because his lane has been going really well for him. He's second on the network charge, just below Void. Void that has had many kills to his name already. That whale is almost to be completed.
Void, which by the way is not going for a Midas this game. No Maelstrom either. He's going straight towards a Manta.
Straight Manta.
Something we see too often. Understandable against things like the Searing Chains though.
Yeah, you could get some diffusal perhaps too.
Good luck with that. One bash, there it is.
Yeah, this Centaur has had a really rough game. He's 0-5 at the moment. He isn't even allowed to come back into this lane. He instantly falls.
Does he even register as a hero at this point?
He's a Centaur. A little bit bigger of a creep Centaur, and that's about it. But soon enough, he might be a beast if you give him just a little bit of space. He just needs a couple of bracers and he's fine. He's already good to go. Just like any single offlaner in the current patch. Just give him a bracer or 2, suddenly unkillable. From something that you bully for 7 minutes into something that you cannot kill for 7 minutes.
So that's why, you're saying that's why 33 wasn't able to dominate last game? He didn't have enough bracers?
Not enough bracers.
He doesn't have any this game either, but now his lane makes sense.
Yeah, but he's not dominating in this match too. He also had a rough laning stage. He was a lot.
Wow, he's definitely looking a lot better than someone else in this game right now. The Xiao Yus will finally get a chance to hit a few creeps. They are coming back again.
Looking better than the Centaur isn't really too hard of a thing to do, especially as Void is maybe looking to even chrono him on this top lane.
Limp's creating a distraction in the mid lane. Stampede's going to come out in time. And Limp will move away as well. Moonlight Shadow does get Invis, press the attack to make sure he's not trapped long enough.
They didn't have any protection here to work with, so Moonlight Shadow comes very in handy.
They're thinking of getting a kill here as well. Eurus. There it is. They've got the arrow, but they haven't got the angle. Will come out, Slight Fist dodges it out, move across, and Hanskin pays the price for the missed time.
Yeah, the first rotation by the Ember Spirit instantly punishes Alliance as they lose their position for Mirana. And that's what we were pretty much waiting for, because when you think about it, when your Medusa is mid, your safe laner has to be more on the active side. And Ember Spirit so far hasn't been really active. He's just been farming, biding his time on the safe lane. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because he did get quite a lot out of this lane. And now when he starts rotating, perhaps he'll be able to do quite a lot. But he has to be careful. Chronosphere here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I see ya.
Yeah, that was really a smart play from him to remnant away instantly. Because if he gets Chrono there, he gets followed up by an arrow into duel, he's most certainly dead.
But that does mean they're likely to forfeit this tier 1 bot, as two cores have rotated from the side of Alliance and they have Hanskin nearby. Meanwhile, Limp will just guard the mid lane. They are using on their side of Vici to treat it as an XP bot lane camp, right? You know, you just got to train a support somewhere, and Medusa keeps supplementing in the jungle. They want to move in and maybe take the tower. And actually, they're even on damage right now. Medusa not really known for her push power this early on compared to the DP.
Definitely not, but she does have some teammates around her. She has the Oracle to save her if anyone goes on her. And also you have Ember Spirit for that extra aggression if that's necessary.
Fada, Purge comes out, Dance as well. We're going to get the tower, Fada, living life on the edge here. Eurus trying to move in, we'll get the Slight Fist to get the kill. And the Purge is going to run out, so they'll be able to back away. A bold strategy from Fada there, doesn't pay off.
Ember Spirit also finds a really good rune for himself, that Arcane one, and instantly he can invade the dire jungle again. There is no void, and they know that. He was farming bottom for quite a long time now.
And now look at Zhao Yu's net worth. He's about to surpass 33. Who's been... It feels like the last 2 minutes have been 33 running around following another core, right?
It's pretty much the problem with the Legion Commander. If you don't have a really dominant laning stage, you do become this press the attack beast that's just running behind his cores as an extra save, and they do need these saves on the side of Alliance.
You're like a baby birdie waiting for mama to bring back the food. That's what's happening there. Like, you give someone, you make her day better because she loves her kids, but at the end of the day, you need to feed him something. Maybe
on top with
this,
arrow.
but there's going to be a remnant away.
It was a close one. Really well timed by Hanskin for the arrow to be exactly on the rune.
Any other hero likely gets caught there.
Exactly.
But not an Ember. Zhao Yu's just getting all the recovery space he wants in the meantime. They're going to move bot. They do need to actually shut him down again.
Oh, they might get to here.
No, Fada. The creeps reveal what's up, and Limp says, why did I rotate here? I mean, you got level 1 exorcism, but it's not going to do that much damage to the tier 2 tower. And I'm getting a little bit concerned about Medusa now. I like that Nico Baby said, why would I try and get in a farming race with a Medusa? But at the same time, it puts you hard on the clock if you're Alliance.
He's going for Manta Midas. It's definitely an anti-Medusa build. Let's see.
Stampede, Hanskin gets caught out here.
Where's the
Move away. It's a pub game.
What's happening? Like in that last game as well. I believe in that last game, it was Vici Gaming that lost one crucial fight with
the Chrono. They're moving in. They go straight away on the Centaur. He's the target. He's a tanky one. Now the duel comes out after the LSA. False promise to protect the Centaur. They move across, clean up the Oracle. Now it's going to be Stone Gates pretty early. Ori being kited out for the time being. They will get rid of Hanskin. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far, but you need more for your Alliance. You did commit a lot here. Remnant away. Eurus has another one to escape. Zhao Yu should be the target as he has no Stampede anymore, but he moves towards the tier 1 tower, where you think he'd be protected, but with the Exorcism running, they're just giving him double value. Nice here in chains, Nico Baby backs away. He's a little bit scared of this Medusa, and they don't even get the tier 1 tower from this.
Yeah, your Alliance, you pop your Chrono, you pop your Dead Prophet ulti, you get a couple of kills, that's true, but is that enough? I'm not so sure, because now you're working without your big ultimates, and it's on Vici Gaming to do whatever they want to on this map, and the only good thing for Alliance, besides those couple of kills, is the map control that they gain with these dives. They push Vici Gaming into a defensive stance, which prevents them from taking any towers. As you can see, tier 1 on the top lane, still standing for Alliance on the bottom lane.
And now 33. He wants a few more stacks so he can go for a kill on the Eurus here. He's moving the invis.
Be careful. Centaur is here. Lina is coming as well in that smoke. Don't go for this kill. You can still keep on the scout on him. You can continue just lurking from behind in the cinders.
He got clipped there. Laguna, disruption. Just gonna give the kill over to Eurus instead. or Xiao Yu.
After Shadow Demon dies, you have absolutely nothing to work with.
Especially when you see Oracle is also here. Actually still smoked for the moment.
Mid lane, however, Alliance is taking the tower too, as they did spot a lot of Vici Gaming members just moving towards the bottom lane, towards that tier 1.
They're TPing down here. Lim came in. So scram. My buildings. LSA should cover their escape. Meanwhile, top Nico Baby. Yeah, once he has this Diffu, he has a means to just kill off Ori. That's the play here, Liz. Instead of building a farming item, you build the item to kill the farmer, because that's the better way to get gold.
Yeah, it's a build that people usually go for versus Medusa. You get the Diffusal and the Manta, and you mess with her mana shield, but so many times I've seen this backfire, as in you just don't farm as fast as with some other items and you fall off.
And the Chronos become crucial as well.
If you don't kill that Medusa once in that Chrono, suddenly she takes a couple of good fights afterwards and can't catch up anymore. Mid lane, however, they're trying for a duel, but
it's a brave target. They will get a disruption. Arrow, long range, but the Stampede lasts long enough. That was ballsy. If he had one more leap, I think Hanska would have been there, but he'd already expended them, so he couldn't get close enough.
There is a Void rotating in though, and there's a Chrono on this Void again. Nico Baby,
there is.
Good position to jump in, but has not enough vision. Fata still struggling with that position 5 support role when it comes to planting down some more. I'm kidding, he had really good ones in that last.
Yeah, he had good ones for the mid lane as well to allow him to get that tower on the next push, which they did. So they met their objective, and now, with this smoke movement, they might meet some more objectives, like killing the cause. Ember would be a massive target for them, but the smoke breaks on Xiao. Chrono, on and free. Oh, well, not as well. Gonna get them low. Lina will be the first to go down. Now disruption. Now they're just trying to solo out the centaur before they can actually get the save there with the false promise, but it will be there before the Oracle drops. So they won't get the duel win, but they will most definitely get the centaur kill.
On the bright side, Ember Spirit does manage to get away, but Centaur...
He's wasting their time a lot.
He's wasting a lot of time.
Run, horsey, run.
In the end, does die. Nico Baby gets a double kill, and that smoke was really good play by the side of Alliance. They just ran straight into Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming, they didn't even react. You could see it. When they got chronoed, all the heroes were still directed in the same direction towards that tier 1 on the top lane. They definitely did not expect that play by Alliance, and that's what makes that play so good. It's not something that they saw coming.
Definitely one of those, oh no, what just happened moments.
Like, Mata also didn't see that coming, or maybe he did. Sometimes when you're position 5, you're supposed to be dying in these dangerous areas for a bounty rune. If you're position 5 right now for a bounty rune, that's definitely worth. Well, if you get it, but
if you're the 4 and the 5 though, they're together, that's the bigger problem, as they lost both of them.
Sometimes you give a little bit more than you wanted, but
give a little more than you take. There's a beautiful nature, Dota, a little bit of a back and forth game. Vicious tennis tournament between two sides. And you can see the creep waves back and forth. Nico Baby needs to just get rid of this cap ult before it actually takes your tower.
Or just get it.
Or just farm.
Yeah, just farm, get it in deny range, and then take it out. One more hit is required though. There we go. Deny range.
Stampede.
Go for it. Top lane.
Yule controls him up. The pings are coming out, but there's no one to TP up and help out 33. And now he's in a little bit of trouble. He has to back off. Moonlight Shadow picks up and runs away. Just in time as Medusa of all heroes was coming to kill him.
Or he's coming to kill the tower to claim this area of the map, as they have lost their own tier 1. Yeah, why bother to chase that Legion commander who's most likely not going to die? However, Shadow Demon, might go for this. You can see a smoke coming from Vici Gaming.
They do have an Ember. We know how this one ends. Disruption reveals. Arrow through, controls up, and now the Searing Chain's out. Lip moving in, Sign's going to be able to get on the side, gets through the Shadow. X is going to get committed though. The buyback, trying to get it quickly. They do have this shrine advantage. Xiao Yu gets out range just in time. The Stone Gates to stun him up. Lip can't chase quick enough, and Fada, he can't reach. No disruption for 8 seconds. All that to get a Centaur, you're not happy. Duel on the side, that might be a bit better, but no one's helping him out as PYW won't give over a duel win. He might still give over his life. The LSA is blocked, and he might be dead.
There. He caught the Medusa. There is the diffuser as well.
She's in trouble. Medusa can't easily get out of there. They could maybe protect the false promise, but the stun in return. Xiao Yu, he brings down the Mirana. Nice buyback from him. Now you're fighting to another shrine, and Eurus, barely any mana left, does get away just in time, but the bash in. Straight away, Ori low. Looks like he might be dead. DY, he was too far away. The time dilation reached up to the high ground and made sure he couldn't get close enough, and now he pays a price as he joins his Deucer in the grey.
Nico Baby, what an aggressive player. What a show from him on that void. Now Centaur again, next target. He's very tanky, has the buckler as well.
Is he really? One more bash would do it. They force a buyback, so now you can just back away. You're content with that. I mean, Oracle's won those fives, right? Your buyback is worth so much at any stage. Not for the monetary, but the importance of it.
Yes.
Well, an odd fight we have here, Liz, from one shrine to another, though. I mentioned though is like a bit like a game of tennis, and there's your example.
Yeah, they do take down the Medusa, but there's the Laguna Blade and Shadow Demon falls in the end, so they get something out of this team fight, as they were forced to buy back that Oracle, and they lost strategically they lost that fight quite convincingly. Alliance from their shrine to the enemy shrine, using that Chronosphere to take down the Medusa, but most importantly, and the balls on this faceless void, Nico Baby jumps into all of them, even though he knows Oracle has his ultimate, but just by the presence of him, you know, he shows up there with that tattoo of his, and DY is like, all right, I need to split Medusa, I'm too scared of this guy, I'm gonna go to the shrine, you're on your own. Goes to the shrine, Medusa dies without being ever ultied by Oracle. I think DY maybe should have ran together with him, but the problem is if he goes that path, Void probably just cleans him up first. So it was a difficult situation for UI to use false promise.
I mean, he gets caught out by the time dilation. That's the big thing. It's so deceptive, right? Like, we know the range. We can look at it when we highlight on the hero. That's what caught him out, because he would have been there otherwise. That movement speed reduction, though, completely screwed any opportunity to save for him. Things will calm down again. TD will go into the Ember, and he will probably look to party. He is going for the Linken's build.
Yeah, the Linken's in this game is alright. It helps you versus some of these heroes, versus Duel, obviously, but still, Linken's doesn't save you from the Chrono, if they, or the AoE Silence of the Dead Prophet. So those two are probably the biggest things that you have to worry about if you are the Ember Spirit. But he needs to be as active as possible. He needs to be in their face for as long as possible, and that's why Linken's will be good. Also, later on, when you're pushing high ground, popping that Linken's on the Naga, on the Medusa is also very good. And
basically, his logic is that at this stage in the game, I need to get deep into the fights, and obviously the threat of Fuel holds him back.
Killer Pigeon
So deep, where's he coming out? In Australia?
Possibly.
Say hi to Toby's family.
This time he wants to go to Sweden, to Alliance headquarters, and he wants to wreck them.
I think Alliance are coming to wreck them, though. They smoke around the back. They'll get their runes, but when they head back, they might be in trouble. Moonlight Shadow's used. They feel confident right now. Hanskin corner side, jump in. Chrono onto the Medusa, chase on the DY instead because he has to. Beats this up. Moving in. Jewel's going to come out. Centaur, no chance of Stampede. He's dead. Disruption to control up the Medusa and force her away. And Centaur can't fight back this time around to save your life. There will be a Stone Gaze to get you out.
With the Stone Gaze, Medusa is able to run away, but Nico Baby is following. Sadly for him, no vision because of
However,
so doesn't have this refusal to work with.
Eurus has no remnant. He has no remnant to work with. He dodges in silence. He needs to live longer though, but he won't get a chance. An even bigger kill really at this stage in the game. Yes, the Medusa's worth more, but the one making the plays of the Ember and PYW.
Four-man wipe in the end. Ori does survive, but what a great performance by Alliance. And I have to tell you this, the way that fight started was very unfortunate for Vici Gaming, because they spot Hanskin on the opposite side, and that makes them believe that they're around Hanskin and not from behind. And then Void just jumps them. Void still, Nico Baby. That Chronosphere, you can say that it was bad, but it was only bad because he was trying to catch Medusa and Oracle. He was trying to position it in between of the two of them so that he clips both. He clips the Medusa, doesn't clip the Oracle, and Oracle is a bigger target. You need to take him down so that he doesn't save the other one. However, the teamfight still was executed very well by Alliance. That Prophet moving in together with the Duel, just taking down the Centaur first, immediately out of the equation, and then everyone else falls too. Ori.
Of course, Stampede is it. Credit where credit is due. And the other big thing to look at that they've done there really is they refocus target with a duel. And speaking of the duel, it's going to be another one. False Promise going to come out. Laguna won't win the duel for him though. 33 might still go down. They'll find him. Now Ember needs to escape. Up to the high ground, he says. Nico Baby gets stunned up. No Chrono for 40 seconds still on the side. TP away by Medusa is successful. Nico Baby, calm down. Calm down. Manta, Ori, what's he doing here? Nico Baby gets away.
Playing with them.
Who's playing with who here, Liz?
Now it's the Centaur that does. Yeah, Void was playing with them, and then he time walks away, baits them in. That Soul Catcher just shreds Centaur apart, and then they clean him up very comfortably. Alliance, this is the way they should have played that first game too. They just didn't have one thing that was so necessary for them, and that's a good laning stage. In the second game, the game is much easier because you win at least 2 lanes. When you lose all 3 lanes in the game of Dotes, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult for you to do anything in the mid game. Arrow.
Usually one of the big cruxes of Musa. Chrono's going to come out straight away. The mana's going to be bled dry. And they don't have a false promise to save him. Nice LSA coming out though. The silence, free man coming there. Yules, nicely done. Nico Baby still chasing him with the time dilation, but not good enough.
Arrow is there, but it connects only on the centaur. You don't really want to go on him with his Crimson Guard. He's very tanky. Too difficult to take down.
But they still have the exorcism, so they can still make plays despite not getting the kill with the Chrono. It does suck a little, but you've still got the big ultimate on Limp to work with. Now that he has the Ags, you can see how pesky he is in general.
There's an Axe on Mirana too, so they have quite a lot of damage coming from Hansken. Not really an item. I mean, an item that's good on Mirana.
We used to see Guardian Greaves a lot more.
Usually you see some more utility on this position 4.
Arrow coming through. Hello. Manta dodge doesn't work in his favor. Pushes him towards it. Exodum's going to be used. Medusa's a big kill and they might be able to find it. No mana left. No light fever. He's going to go down. Nico Baby trying to find more. The duel comes out after the stampede. The Yules to try and buy enough time that he doesn't give up the damage. It's too late. No, he's dead. Exorcism leads up into the high ground. They force the Medusa buyback, but this should be a lane.
They just have to wait for their creeps. They do have that divine protection kicking in, and they're chewing through it with all the ghosts coming from Limp, but creeps are arriving, and when they do arrive, perhaps you can take a fight.
No, Limp dies, no!
Yeah, that's...
They dangle him too far forward.
Yeah, you still have to respect the Medusa if he's on the high ground, and if he's hitting you together with that Laguna Blade, obviously he can take...
Nico Baby? He's going in for the snipe, but he doesn't get the bash off. Yules is going to come out. He knows there's no Laguna, but he can still get him low. He has got the time walk to get on top of Ori. He's looking to man fight up against him. The arrow's going to come through. Medusa out of mana. She is going to be the dieback in this race. Stun to try and save her life, but it's too late. Dead for 100 seconds, and Nico Baby's not done. This man is hungry for more.
Okay, this time around, he's a little bit too hungry as these 2 supports managed to take him down. Jumping in with 10% HP, that's not really the perfect way to do. However, he does respawn with full HP, and now they can think about pressuring high ground. Ember Spirit is on that top lane.
They might get him fired up. Pops a Lincoln, disruption. Here comes an arrow. Time to eat. What are you eating? Alliance, they're going to eat some Ember Spirits here as they find Eurus. Hansen gets the kill.
That's 2 cores without buyback, and Limp is up in about 10 seconds. After he respawns, perhaps you can go. Maybe you can go right now if you're brave enough.
Well, they got the Chrono again. Why not? Pie time in the Radiant base. They're going to jump in. Chrono's there for the Oracle alone to kill him off, which means Xiaoyu's in trouble afterwards. The Yules won't change anything here. And now the Duel's going to be there, jumping forward. Nice mana dodge. Nico Baby, magical fingers here, trying to kill off a magic user. But the moon away. After the buyback, the Stampede will keep Lina alive.
That Prophet did find a really good room. That's the haste one, so he will move towards his teammates a little bit quicker while they're taking down the tier 3.
Back to Oracle. Disruption again. Xiaoyu sidesteps it this time, though. It will at least be a tier 3 town. Are Alliance happy with that, or are they still hungry?
They can go for the Raxes now. You have that Prophet ulti in 10 seconds.
Jump in again, going deep. Nico Baby, the bash. No, BYW's gone. Silence comes out, and they will just melt straight through this centaur. Off to the glue factory of you. Soulcatcher really is a special spot.
All the buybacks that have been committed by Vici Gaming did not stall Alliance, did not stop Alliance from taking down this first side, this mid lane. The mid lane melee Raxes should fall any second now, and now
one thing stops them. Tier 2s. That's the only reason they've probably left that base right now, Liz.
Yeah, Medusa has respawn too. You don't have Chrono, you do have Exorcism, and you should take down the shrines plus the bounty runes. I mean, you know what also stopped them? Their wish to go shopping. You have so much gold, you know, you're rich. You don't really have to commit to a team fight any longer. You can take down a couple of items first. However, stopping them from shopping is also the lack of a courier. Who's that?
It's true. Arrow on the Medusa. Shenanigans again, but they'll zone him away. And yeah, look at the amount of gold floating around. These boys right now, they could buy their own Mercedes, especially on Fada. 3.2k gold on a position 5. Oh, this is a game you dream of, right, Liz? Hey, mate, you're sitting there, you're 5, you brought all these wards, you're like, finally able to actually just spoil myself. I need small wards.
The true position 5, the true sacrifice.
What does a true POS 5 need? Well, I could buy more wards, there's a few smokes available. Still have 3,000 gold.
It's really good that they have this Void, man. What a hero in the current meta. overall, Void plus a Legion Commander makes him hit so hard and press the attack, and also clears any sort of disables off of him, so he doesn't really have to worry. Even without the BKB, he's fine completely. He can play whatever way he wants to, as aggressively as he wants to, which was perfectly executed in these last few fights by Nico Baby.
I also love the way it's syncing in with heroes like the DP, right? Because DP fits Void Drafts really well because you lack push. She gives you that push, but also she's like a pseudo Sand King these days. Worst case scenario, Exorcism, and you don't want to blink into the Chrono, but you could if need be to give the extra damage.
It has its ups and downs, this duo, of course, Void plus Dead Prophet, even though they complement each other very well in that way that you have just described. They do have two big cooldown ultimates, which...
It's kind of traditional Dota, right? Where we used to talk about the huge ultimates, and it was great, but teams started to move to these low cooldown heroes because you just ramp up the aggression constantly.
Yeah, Vici Gaming can definitely punish them if a few Chronos or Dead Prophet ultis are misused, but so far Alliance have been on point. Nico Baby, with his aggression, is hunting for more.
Papa Nico needs to eat. And he does find the perfect target. Get rid of the Oracle and save the Chrono for the big ones. There's already going to be an arrow on the side of the disruption. Stampede will get one away, but Lena's left behind. He's moving in and still finds the kill into DY. Forces him to use the false cross himself, in fact. And he will still inevitably go down. Yules controls him up. Arrow through. Traction on the centaur. They could go in for the Chrono opportunity if they want to. They need to hunt a bit. There it is. They're going to go in. They're looking for the fast. They get it straight when it's Xiaoyu. BKB. Nico Baby brings him down. No buybacks indeed. And Ori, when he waits out the Stone Gaze, goes in with the Chrono. The Soul Catcher as well. And this is just done. This is reaching a point of ridiculousness. 16k net worth lead. Alliance pie in your face. Just tap out with a GG. You know what, Liz? Game one wasn't looking too good for Alliance. Vici looking hot, but Alliance, they come bouncing back in and say, anything you can do, we can do better. And they finished 20 minutes quicker.
They finished 20 minutes quicker, and they executed their lineup really well. But I have to say, if you are Vici Gaming, I don't know what you think about Alliance. You can't disrespect them so hard that you give them Shadow